to bring you this important message.
Hotep, I am that I am. Some call me Heru, your modern monk, your cannabis fitness strategist, back at it again, here for you, here with you, here just illustrating or demonstrating some dialogue as we get into episode 81. Yes, that's episode 81. As we keep it moving, keep it pushing, but at the same time, episode 81, blood flow restriction training. This has been those of you who are, I want to give you a shout out. I thank you for coming through, listening, tuning in, tuning up, taking some time out your day or your night or your evening to listen, tune in to what I gotta say, or not just what I gotta say, just some of my thoughts on some of the things that we are surrounded by, our environments, our social pools, our jobs, etc., our institutions and whatnot. And how our government have been demonstrating some interesting little ploys in the last couple of days. But that's another story. What I'm talking about is going to be health related, fitness related, incorporating, getting that blood flow, actually helping the blood flow to that heart and to the rest of the body parts that you're actually focusing in on. If you haven't subscribed yet, you should be subscribed. Should be ashamed of yourself if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't told your buddy, your friends, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, your mama, your daddy, your grandma, grandpa, your children. Get them all on this show. Because what we're here to do is actually trigger some things, wake you up, give you some opportunity to start triggering that thinking, even that critically, chronologically, strategically, and all them other terminology that people want to use to enhance, to embrace, to enlighten, to lift, lift the mind. Speaking of that, I'm going to take a little smoke session right there, smoking my nice cigars as I go into this podcast show at 81 as we keep it moving and keep it pushing. I wanted to do this earlier, but my time had got wrapped up a little bit in some distractions, as we would call it. But give me a few seconds. Give me a few ticks. Welcome back, my fellow lovely beings, sentient beings, as we dive into this blood flow restriction training. Now, I'll go in some detail a little bit here, defining blood flow restriction training, or OCC, I think they call it. It's another terminology, the occlusion training. Those of you who's in the fitness industry or really want to be able to take your game to the next level, even my calisthenic brothers and sisters, as the one sister or somebody have responded to me, why do brothers, black folks, or whatever, African Americans always call it calisthenics with a T in there? It's interesting that we do that, but I think that's how it originally was comprehended. And that's how I hear it. That's how we hear it. That's how some of us hear it, calisthenics. But we're talking more of blood flow restriction. So we're going to dive into, that's the whole point of calisthenics, body work exercise, right? So you're doing high reps, high repage to get the blood flow, to get the restriction, to get the growth of the muscle, as you would say. So let's dive into it a little bit. But I'm going to really go into a little more detail why I have been doing it and why I think a lot of you should incorporate it in your form of training, because it's definitely, I'm seeing results like crazy. And then the other thing is when it's been a few weeks since I did any strength, or maxing out any PRs. It's been a few weeks. I think it's been about 3 weeks since the last time I did my PRs. So this coming week, I'm planning on doing a few PRs, like my bench, maybe some deadlifts, I don't do too much squats. I do body weight squats, but I don't do anything with weighted too much, not as heavyweight. Let me say it like that. I've been utilizing regular squats with barbell. I've been just putting on 135 pounds to make it efficient a little bit. But since I've been doing the blood flow restriction training, I don't need that much weight. I can do body weight exercises with this form of training and get just as fast as results as I'm doing with the high trophy, or yeah, that's really how you say it, high trophy. High trophy, they got it. That's another thing, high trophy, or high are opening up the blood flow to that particular muscle or that particular area that you're actually focusing in on. Mostly limbs, and that would be your arms or your biceps, triceps, as well as your thighs, your glutes, your maximus, your gluteus maximus, and your hammies and your, well, that's the same thing. Your hammies, your lactorials and your pectorials and your all them terminology you use for your legs. Okay. I'm not no scientist, not in when it comes to fitness and whatnot, even though I think I'm a scientist when it comes to like creativity, when it comes to like putting things together, when it comes to like creating value, if that makes sense. I'm a scientist in that. I was talking to a gentleman earlier today, and he was asking, like, content driven. I'm very, when it comes to content, I can develop the content. I can get the content. I don't have no problem with content development, right? So that's why another thing I want to do, if you're interested, please give me a email, youarethegym@gmail.com, or you can call me or text me at 206-659-6382. And those of you who's looking to get some more You Are the Gym merch, let me know. I got other things coming. That's another thing. I got masks. I got I'm gonna do some beanies, and I want to do some I'm thinking about doing some headbands, because I that's one of the things I do with my long hair, with the dreads and whatnot. The headbands are vital. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get some You Are the Gyms headbands. So I got the merch. I haven't went into the sweatpants or anything like that yet, but I have been selling a bunch of shirts, and I definitely want to sell more shirts. So if you're interested, buy 30, 40 of them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Buy 30, 40 of them. We'll get you squared away. Get you suited and booted. You should have a You Are the Gym shirt for every day. Every different color I actually offering. You feel what I'm saying? So, I want to get more calls, and I want to get more emails on, let me get a shirt. I want to get a shirt from you. You Are the Gym representing, because you are the gym. You know what I'm saying? The ideology here is really keeping you in a mindset where you're building. You're growing, you're creating value, and you're giving value. You feel what I'm saying? Because you're worth unlimited. When you put things in perspective, you're unlimited. You feel me? So act unlimited. Get your body right. Get your mind right. Get your money right. Get everything in place. Because everything is meant to be in place, if that makes sense. In a perfect place for you to be able to become the better you. And that's what I'm talking about today. The blood flow restriction training. This actually it's been a very interesting little concept, even though a lot of the people in physical therapy, they're starting to use this technique, and it makes sense. So you're not putting on all this heavy weight to do these resistant type of movements. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to recovery, When it comes to recovery, certain muscle groups that you can't necessarily use on a machine, or you can't do as much with, free weight or whatever the case may be. So you use a lightweight to to balance it out, using lightweight but getting the effect faster results with a quicker modality. So this is basically what it is a blood flow restriction training is a different modality in the fitness industry. So you can use resistance bands, you can use lightweight, 15 pounds, 10 pounds, even 5 pounds. considering the reps you do. You know what I'm saying? And with this particular technique, because I'm starting to see a lot more different techniques implemented within this particular training. You know, because when it comes to, this is what's important to me. Aesthetics is very important to me. What my body looks like, but how my body feels too. You know what I'm saying? Am I eating healthy? Am I eating the right ingredients? Am I putting the right ingredients in my food to get the benefits that I'm looking for? Even though a lot of things are trial and error, because you know, any given time you could be eating something totally different and your body don't agree with it, right? And then vice versa. You may have a good digestive time in a certain particular time, even though you work on duplicating that particular time, just like working out on the same time. You feel what I'm saying? The same time every day, even though that's, for me, that haven't been logic. But I notice I've been still getting the results with the training I have been doing. And I'm always open to other training. You know what I'm saying? I do use like Mad Bars workout sometimes. I may go to ThinX and I may do some training there. You know what I'm saying? And I do try out I won't say all these fitness guys, but some of the key brothers and sisters that's been out there and actually kind of have a longevity and kind of got some really good opportunities within their training, per se. Certain things I agree on and certain things I don't agree with, right? Like we all do. We all have some type of bias. But blood flow restriction training. Now, so basically what this particular tool is just wraps. Like if you was wrapping your arms, or if you was wrapping your wrists, or you was wrapping your knees to actually pursue a particular exercise, like squats, for example. So basically what you're doing with these particular wraps, you're wrapping them right under your shoulder. Literally, your shoulder, your griddle. Your shoulder, right before your biceps, right before going into your biceps. So you're wrapping that particular area to a certain amount of, not necessarily as tight, but enough so you can at least restrict a little bit of the blood flow, if that makes sense. And that goes on with your leg too as well. So you're putting it above your hip, right under your hips. Right under your hips. You're wrapping it right over that hamstring and that gluten mean and gluten tattoos and hamstrings and I can't even talk. Hamstrings, you know what I'm talking. Your legs, right above your legs. So you put it up there and it's the same amount of tightness, long as it's tight enough for a little blood flow, but at the same time not hurting yourself, not restricting it all the way. And you'll kind of get a grasp of it kind of wrapped around the tightness. You don't want it as tight as you think you should. You want it at least so you can get enough flow up in there where it just feels just right. Because you will feel it, literally. You will feel that blood pumping up in there. And it's crazy too, because you are getting your whole muscle just grow and beyond, just like your legs. And I've been noticing with this particular technique, I'm getting faster gains, right? And that's really the key thing, is really getting, well, the look. This is what's been important to me. It's been the look, and that always changed too, because you're like, oh man, okay, I'm at a point where it looks hella good. That's why I want to get in some training. I like to get in some more posing, learning poses. Because the poses, it reminds me of when you do yoga, right? When you do yoga, you're holding these poses, but you're holding definition. You see what I'm saying? You're holding, you're holding the statue of all statues. But you're holding these positions, but you're able to develop those particular muscles, if that makes sense. Or that particular area that you're focusing in on. Like the 6-pack, like the 12-pack abs that you truly want. But see, it happens in the kitchen too. You got to be eating the right foods. You got to be putting in the right energy sources. You know what I'm saying? To build those particular areas that you want to build. But then you have to have a work ethic too. Meaning you got to be able to work out. You should be at least, this is for those of you, and we always dropping jewels in this podcast show anyway. But listen, please hear me out. Can you give yourself an opportunity to work out at least 3 days a week? That's all we asking. That's all your body asks you to do. 3 days a week is efficient. And you'll literally start seeing results and giving yourself a chance to become better. Stop rushing your results too. Stop rushing, well, I gotta be over here. Well, I gotta be this much weight in 3 weeks or 3 months. And all these, just give yourself some open opportunity. I'm not saying don't plan, but give yourself, start just doing at least 3 days a week. Hitting it up 3 days a week. Start doing some high intensity interval training. If you can't do that, go get a jump rope. There's so many jewels out here now. And there's many other exercises out there. You know, if you're in Zumba, do some Zumba shit. Do some dancing. Put on some Michael Jackson or something. Listen to some music and just start dancing. Put on some jazz or put on some reggae shit. You know, or rave. Do a rave up in the house. You do your own rave. Go crazy. You know, this is a good workout for you. Even if it's like 45 minutes, 30 minutes to 45 minutes, you can do this. And your children would love this. Put on some music and just start dancing. Dancing crazy. Looking crazy. Your children would love that. Especially if you got young ones. They would love that. Plus they know mommy and daddy is actually getting down. You know, I don't have to be perfect in front of my child. That's another thing I think we have. This society has been, we have been really, we've really been hurting ourselves pretty bad. Let me say it like that. But I won't go on that tangent. That'd be my next, that would be my next podcast show. But we're talking about blood flow restriction training. And the benefits that you truly get from this particular technique. I've been using this blood flow restriction technique for the last 2 months or so. So I do it every other week. I usually, you know, I've been focusing more on my biceps, triceps area and my lats. And my glutes, all that, you know, my lats, my glutes, my, not my lats, forgive me, my laterals. My thighs in general, right? Getting all that focused in on to build better legs, because I do a lot of walking, right? I'm doing a lot of walking, especially being at the job, and then, you know, I don't do as much walking when I'm with clients. So, but at the same time, I do a lot of walking when I'm at the job, or I'm doing a lot of walking going here and there, maybe to some of the places that I need to go to, run some errands or whatever the case may be. But I do a lot of walking, but I've been working on my legs and my arms, you know, getting them superior, but I'm looking at more strength. Like I told you guys, I'm more strength. I don't really care about being the biggest one in the room, but I'm going to give you a run for your money, you know, as far as weight for weight or pound for pound, however you want to look at it. And speed. You feel what I'm saying? Speed. Being able to be mobile, being able to be quick, have the flexibility. You know what I'm saying? So this type of training, this blood flow restriction training makes sense. I remember when we was doing all these contraction training, as they used to call it, way back in the 90s. Contraction training. You know, and this was funny because when I think about it, this was the information we was getting from these magazines back then, right? Muscle magazines and all these high, even though it's a lot of them that don't even exist anymore, the muscle building magazines. You know, a lot of that industry got hit pretty hard because they started going online and whatnot. But basically, the contraction training is literally, that's what's going on with the blood flow restriction training. That was the whole point of pumping the blood in those particular arms when you're doing like half reps on certain things. You know what I'm saying? Half reps on your legs, curls or extensions, or with biceps, tricep, curls or whatever you're doing, or skull crushers. That was the whole point of the contraction. And basically, this is what the same kind of the blood flow restriction training is similar to that. And you don't really hear. This is the one thing I do notice about the YouTubers or the fitness YouTubers. You don't really get a good little run. You don't really hear too much from the old timers. I'm talking like the Dorian Yates. Even though he does come on every occasion and probably talk about it, and he may even have his own podcast or YouTube channel or whatever. But listening to them, to some of the techniques they were doing, even though they was living in the gym too, that's another thing I think we have screwed up within our society. People got to realize a lot of these people be in the gym for way too many hours, way too many minutes, where it's like uncalled for. And I think that's where people get in these plateaus, because you're over. It's kind of like the rep game when you're in the calisthenics. Yeah, you get the reps, boom, 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 but you don't really build nothing. You build the resistance, you build the resilience. I get all that, but then when you're talking like muscle, the look, you know what I'm saying, the aesthetic look, you don't get that. You hit a plateau. And this is we can debate this too. I'm sure people will probably question it. Some of you calisthenic practitioners probably would test that, but this is what I've noticed over the years and seeing certain people where they're blowing up, or if they want to blow up, or however they want to, because some people are satisfied with their physiques, okay, but then, sometimes your physique get pale, or, you get to a point where it's like, okay, it's time to make some changes, right? It's time to make some change, especially as you get older. So you start incorporating certain supplementation. You might incorporate some things that you haven't and ever messed with back in the day, because you was kind of utilizing the natural element, see where you can go. But guarantee you, anything after 30, you're going to have your decline. Everything is going to be declining. I was even talking to my ex-girlfriend about when I was like younger, I would run circles around people. Literally. And I'm not, when you're talking like energy level, right? Don't take me wrong, my energy level is still high, but it's not even close to what it was when I was in my early 20s, teens and early 20s. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing too, and that's what I do like about this blood restriction, because it's actually taking you back for far as getting the blood flow, getting that energy built into that particular focus area where you want it to. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, it keeps, so the next few hours is keeping that, is building the tear up muscles and building them bigger, creating another mountain, as we would say, hill and mountain with our biceps. Even though our biceps are really not the main muscle, it's our triceps, right? When you really think about it. Even like with the glutes are where it's at. Right? When you see somebody's glutes on fire, you're like, oh, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mindset. This is what this particular blood flow restriction training is about. Let me just, I want to go in a little detail with this particular technique, or added value to your workouts. Because I think every other week you can incorporate this type of training. I'm not talking every day, and I'm not talking every other day, but I'm talking, because this is actually one of those like PR moments when you're working with blood flow restriction techniques or training. And this is my opinion too. I mean, I'm sure it can be debatable, but with the training and what it actually consists of, it's kind of like with the it's the opposite, like with like if you're doing handstand train, or working on your handstands. You got to do that every day. I think you got to add that in your regimen every day, so your body can get used to that position, used to those particular muscles, and paying attention to. So, but with blood flow restriction is like a hit or quitter. So it's like every other week you want to add this in your training. So I'm reading from this physiopedia.com, and it's talking about blood flow restriction training. So introduction: muscle weakness commonly occurs in a variety of conditions and pathologies. High load resistance training has been shown to be the most successful means in improving muscular strength and obtaining muscle hypertrophy. I mean, that's what it says. But y'all know the term. The problem that exists is that a certain populations that require muscle strengthening, e.g. chronic pain patients or post-operative patients, high load and high intensity exercise may not be clinically appropriate. Conditions that result in a loss of muscle mass, such as cancer, HIV, AIDS, diabetes, and COPD, could potentially benefit from muscle strengthening and muscle hypertrophy, but but cannot tolerate high intensity loaded exercise. Blood flow restriction training is a technique that combines low intensity exercise with blood flow occlusion that produces similar results to high intensity training. It has been used in the gym setting for some time, but is gaining popularity in clinical settings. And this makes so much sense, people. This is like, and it's cool because you're starting to see it more incorporated in the gym environment. Because it's funny too, because even when I've been doing it, and then I'm noticing other people bringing theirs in, who was actually present when I was having mine up. They're like, and then I'm starting to get questions. Oh, where do you get those from? Or what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So don't take me wrong. Okay, if you want science in your exercise or whatever, but the true science, folks, is what your results. What are you getting with the results? You can try anything and everything that they offer out there, the Jeff Cavaliers and all these different techniques and ideas and concepts, yada, yada, yada. But what works for you is the key. You see what I'm saying? What works for you is the key. But this is the thing. Please, what works for you may not work for others. And then at the same time, this may not be something that you keep doing for the rest of your life. That's another thing. I think we stick to these traditions that really put us in a situation where, okay, you don't want to learn nothing else. You don't want to gain nothing. That's what I do love about the Jeff Cavaliers, and to an extent, because we come off with different techniques. We're coming off with different ideas. And that's how I think, even with, not how I think, but this is what I've been doing with my body. I'm getting older, but I'm not feeling older. You see what I'm saying? I'm getting older, but I'm not feeling older. That's totally different. I'm getting older, but I'm not feeling older. I'm feeling a lot more younger. I'm doing things that I thought I never could do in my younger years that I'm able to do now in my older years. And maybe because it's the time, it's the patience, it's the maturity. And I'm gonna smoke to that one. So blood flow restriction training. This is for the advanced brothers and sisters out there. You got a few years under your belt. I say about 7 years. You got about 7 years under your belt. So you have heard of blood flow restriction training. And it's another term they use too as well. Occlusion. That's the other term they use. But I guess it's been going on. It initially was developed in the 1960s by the Japanese brothers, and it was a certain technique they was using. It involves the application of I don't know what that is. I can't even say that word, but I won't even go. I won't even go there. But they actually definitely been utilizing it for a lot of years now. It's the 1960s, you know, and no telling what else other techniques that been going on. Because like I was, and I give this credit to my mentor, my pops, my coach, Thomas Ritchie. We was doing high intensity workouts. We didn't know what it was, but we was doing all these high intensity workouts during this period of time. We're talking late 80s, early 90s, how we was working out. And no wonder why we was like the most, hands down, the Lathrop High School wrestlers from 1990 to 1994. Well, longer than that, because he retired in 2001, 2002, 2003, I think. Or 2009. He probably, I think it was 2009 he retired officially. But we were probably the most conditioned team. I would put money. I know from 1990 to 1994, we was probably the most conditioned team in Alaska, hands down. When it come far as the wrestling team, we was in the high. Brothers and sisters, my cardio was sick. My cardio was sick. I was able to outrun basketball players on their own on their own court, and I'm talking about elite players. That's how good a shape I was in. And most of us was in that type of shape. Hands down. They can probably tell you that too. Some of my teammates can tell you that. But we was doing all this training back then. We didn't have a term for it, high intensity interval training. That's what we was doing. That's why we was so conditioned. But these are certain techniques like this blood flow restriction. This is a technique. This is more of a jewel. This is for people, like I said, 7 years and up. You've been training for at least 7 years and up. So you have heard of this particular type of training. But this type of training will help you get better benefits. That's why I do it every other week. Because you don't want to do this. I don't think you should do it every week. Because I think when you start abusing things, you start really abusing things. You don't really take the opportunity to address what is actually being done, to respect what actually is being done with the body. It's kind of like eating the same meal all the time, and then you're wondering why you're not getting any results. So you have to change up a little bit, people. Change is always going to be the game, and that's what I should have called this. Change. Change your regimen up. You have to change your eating game up. I'm not saying take out the signature foods, but I would say eat these signature foods for a certain amount of time. Then give them a cycle off of them. And that's what I do with this. That's what I'm saying right now. Cycle. Cycle off everything you do. And when it comes back to you, it's a whole new relationship. Uh-oh. Whole new relationship. Blood flow restriction. And it's funny too, because you can use this same technique, blood flow restriction, with utilizing an opportunity to start meditating. Start thinking about what you need to be doing. Start thinking about building more of a foundation for yourself and your family. Not just living day to day, just getting by day to day. It shouldn't even be that such mindset. Even though we do have some of us that are, caught up in the, what they call it, the rat race. You know, why would they call it the rat race? You see, they've been all. This is the funny thing too. We've been so caught up in allowing these scientists and all this people predict our mindset, put us in these positions, instead of us journeying into our own particular ideologies or understandings, how we're interpreting these particular human interactions, if that makes sense. Because we know life has principles, life has laws, right? But it is a particular interpretation to all what goes on within our particular lifestyles. I know I'm the greatest calisthenic practitioner on this planet, in the universe. You are the gym. You must put yourself in a chair or put yourself in the driver's seat and take more opportunity. Take ownership of who you be, of what you want to be. And the funny thing is, you can create an avatar, like we've been doing. You can create an avatar. But the thing is, you have to live up to the avatar standards. Uh-oh. What you talking about? Yeah, I'm talking about ethics. I'm talking about morals. You know what? It's so much opportunity out here. My brother, my sister. There's so much opportunity out here. That's the whole point of reaching out and touching somebody. I'm speaking on this forum. I know it's people I work with or connected with. You're tuning in, checking out what's going on. I appreciate you to even give me the opportunity to you get to know a little bit about myself. Because, you know, the one thing too, even in your job environment is funny too. Because it's like, why you don't want people to know who you are? You know what I'm saying? We're spending more time at these jobs. Why not take advantage of the opportunity to get to know some folks? How we can work better. You feel what I'm saying? When your job is not boring, you have a lot more fun. The day goes by fast. You're happier. You're feeling good. You know what I'm saying? People sharing positive things with you most of the time, unless it's some crazy stuff. Well, I was at this party and they was doing this or whatever. You know, get some excitement, get some laughter in your life. You feel me? Put some laughter in your life. Even if you're not a big fan of Chappelle or any of these other, go listen to some George Carlin. Classic. Or Bill, what was his name? Bill, I forgot his name. Bill something. Not Bill Bellamy, but this Bill Hicks. Go check him out. He's no longer with us, but man, that brother was on and dropping jewels on you. Uh-oh. You have a friend in the jewelry business. The Shane Company, where you have jewels that's right for you, custom for you. Blood flow restriction training. Let's get into more little detail. So you put on the wraps. Basically, this is what you're doing. You're wrapping right under your shoulder, literally right under your armpit. You put that wrap around there so you can get bigger biceps, bigger triceps. And trust me, you will feel the pump. You will feel the pump. You will feel the blood. You'll get probably to 15 at the most. And your whole arm will be about to pop. Literally, your biceps be about to pop. You be doing some curls and you only got like 15 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever. You put it in there and you doing your curls. You're eccentric. and all of a sudden you feeling that pump, you feeling that blood coming in, your veins all popping out, looking all shredded over there. They're like, who that over there? Who that? Did you see his arms? And don't let me come out the shirt. Let me just throw this out to y'all. Don't let me come out the shirt. I've been to the beach, right? Beach is lovely. The ocean. I haven't even taken off my shirt yet. I did earlier in the beginning of last year, when I first got out here. But I haven't even taken off the shirt. You know, brother, all chiseled up, cut up. So remind you, when you're messing with this blood flow restriction, you really look like the Super Hulk over there. And you can be the smallest guy in the room, but you look swole up in there. You look crazy up in there. You know, and it gets people's attention. Believe it or not, it gets people's attention. Especially when you start going into these gyms that are not commercial gyms. Like I've been going to this independent gym out here called Iron Hawaiian Fitness, and it's pretty cool. You got some big celebrities that go up in there. A lot of people from, I know, 24 Hour Fitness be up. Well, some of the staff members actually work out over there. Matter of fact, he was asking me, one of the staff members was asking me the other day when next time I'm going to be up in there, Hawaiian Fitness, Iron Hawaiian Fitness. And it's a really cool gym. But it's kind of interesting too, like I said, when you start doing that specialty training, you know what I'm saying? When you start taking your game to another level, that's when you start really getting results. Because you're really focusing in on you. Not just going to the gym and just doing the typical bench press and get in there and get it. Like I said, there's a lot of people be in that gym bullshitting. The only workout they get in probably be the fucking running on a treadmill and acting like they boxing or something. It's amazing just the waste of time too in the gym that I see go on. You know, literally, this is another thing, and I haven't even really talked about that. That's a subject matter I need to go a lot more into. When you got people in the gym just like taking up space. I mean, I get you're there, you know, you're there, I don't know what you're there for, but you're sitting on your cell phone, you're not doing, you're really not seeing no work being done. Let me just say it like that. So that's another subject. I won't even go up in there. Blood flow restriction training. Those of you, I would challenge you, take the time to actually do some. Try it. Those of you who's been involved in been doing any type of weightlifting for the last 7 years plus, definitely this is something you'll be interested in. The results, I'm telling you, definitely you see results with the quickness. In a matter of days, keep it real with you, in a matter of days. But on that note, I'm going to end this right here before I get crazy, because I'm getting crazy. I'm going into other subject matters. But if you want to learn more about blood flow restriction, give me a call, 206-659-6382, or give me an email at youarethegym@gmail.com. Text me first. Those of you who want some more teas, hey, order 30 of these motherfuckers. Fitted. I get you fitted. I get you wearing all, like I said, I got different colors. And we trying to get this planet plastered with You Are the Gym. Because you are the gym, brothers and sisters. And we're going to leave you off with that. Much love, peace, and I'm out. And I'm out. And I'm outie. I'm outie. Getting it in. You know how we do it. It's all love. Keep it 100. And I'm out.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.